I wanted to show you a couple of items that may help you with your machine quilting. One of them is the KAQ rotary cutter. It has a retractable blade that comes in when it goes out when you are ready to cut and retracts when you're done. So this is from Joann's, the 45mm blade. I paid about $15 on sale at Joann's, and you can pretty much cut about 4 layers sitting in a sitting position without exerting too much effort. So the blade is in. When you press down on it, it cuts and the blade goes back in. So for those of you who forget to retract your blade, this is a good item to get and pretty sharp. It uses the OFA replacement blades, but I prefer to use the blades that come from KAQ on this. So this is the KAQ rotary cutter. The other thing I wanted to point out is another thing from Joann's, and this is called the Bright Light. Regular price is about $49.99, but for those of you who have a hard time seeing your stitches at night, or seeing your work at night, especially on dark fabrics, this is a real bonus. You adhere it. There's a sticky back on it. Put it on your sewing machine. They also sell this piece that you can put on your other machines, so you can take this off and then transfer it to your other machine. When you get a new sewing machine, you want to remove this. You just use Glue Gun and it'll take the adhesive off, and then you can still attach it to the next machine. So what it is it's plugged in separately, so when you're ready to use it, you press the button and your work area shows up. So this is really great, and then you can adjust this to focus on your work area. The other thing I want to show you is I have about 50-60 bobbins for this machine, and I always have a hard time storing my bobbins because the threads are all hanging out. I have to keep controlling the bobbin threads. I found this at Joann also. Regular price is about $10, so it's about on sale for $7, and it holds about 2 dozen bobbins, maybe 20, and I really like it. Keeps my threads under control, and then I can see my bobbins very easily. Another thing is when I do Freemotion quilting, or even just any machine quilting, pretty much a big quilt, say a baby quilt 42 by 42, probably have to change the bobbin about 3 times. So I use Bobbin Thread. Bobbin Thread comes in pretty much standard size. If I'm really picky and I want to match the top thread, then I'll use the same thread from the top in the bobbin. But these bobbin threads specifically made for the bobbin is a thinner thread, although it's still pretty strong. So you can wind more thread on the bobbin, and you won't have to replace your bobbin as often. So this is the bobbin thread. The other thing I wanted to show you is this new gloves I got. It's called Machingers. It's about $10 for this Machingers. This is one of the best gloves I've found for doing my machine quilting. One thing good about this glove is there's no left or right. You can put it on either hand, and so I bought a size medium large because I'm about 5'5", about medium built. So this fit pretty good, nice and snug, not too tight, and I'm able to work. Now the item I really wanted to show you is called a Supreme Slider, and what it'll help you with is your Freemotion machine quilting. Now if you're just going to do stitch in the ditch with your quilting foot, then you don't use this. Okay, so this item is used for when you have your Freemotion foot, and your what you want is your fabric to glide. What they tell you to do, I'm demonstrating on a Janome 6500 memory craft sewing machine. I like this machine because it has a portable extension table. So when you notice that when you quilt, if you don't stick it down, it's going to slide around. So they tell you to use some packing tape, clear packing tape, and take your table down so it doesn't move. So that was a good idea. And you can remove it later, you know, so you don't have to keep it there permanently. So, take your extension table down. If you have a drop-in, a sewing machine that drops into a cabinet, that's fine too. You pretty much need to have a quilting area table like this. So you're going to have to build around so you can have a flat area to quilt on. The Supreme slider comes in a package, and I want to show you how this works, okay? So, this has two sides to it. One is the pink side that clings to your sewing machine table, and the white side is the area that you're going to sew on. Before I put that on, I want to show you what happens if I don't use the Supreme slider. So here I have some fabric ready to quilt. I have 3-ounce polyester batting in between. I'll show you what happens. If I just want to do Freemotion quilting now, and I don't have the Supreme slider, just my regular bed. I'm sorry, the thread is getting under. Okay. Alright. So here's what happens. Okay. So now, I'm going to start. I'm having uneven stitches because my table is not letting me go push my fabric smoothly, so it's kind of giving me big and small stitches. Okay, let me show you. I thought I'd have to spend like $10,000 buy a Bernina stitch regulator sewing machine to get regular stitching. So this is without the Supreme slider. So now I'm going to put the Supreme slider on, and so you have to remove it every time you don't do Freemotion quilting. Okay, so you can't use a regular foot with this. It's so slick on the top that your machine, your fabric won't cling otherwise. Okay, so I've dropped the feed dogs as I had earlier. Now, well, when you put it, there's a hole in the middle, and you just center it with your needle. So that's all you have to do to install it. It clings, it won't move. And if it does eventually get dirty from, you know, the removing it all the time, it says just to wash it and all that lint will come off the back and it'll cling again. So here we go. And I'm going to use the slider. And now my table is letting me have some control over my fabric. So my stitches are a little more regular looking. My curves are easier to make because I'm able to glide the fabric over the table. So instead of spending $10,000 for a new machine, I'll be happy with my $29.99 Supreme slider for a while. It's beautiful. I just recently made a quilt that was about 72 by 72. And I did sort of a river type of Freemotion pattern. Normally it probably would have took me about 5 or 6 hours to do it. I did it in 3 hours, and I was very happy with the results.